Growing up, we can establish a connection towards an inanimate object for a multitude of reasons, such as a sense of escape and ease into that object. It saves us from the real world problems that we live in around us, or sometimes it's even something that we strive to become. Maybe even because it's forbidden and it's unallowed, thus making us even more longing for that object. Some even might relate to all of the above. Whatever it may be, it's highly likely for every single human being to have a craving of some type of collection, and trust me when I say, it's proven to not just be limited to a niche specific group in any way. It's in the average human conscience to be a nerd for at least one passion. For example, something like a Funko Pop, a band tee, vinyls, or even the Tara Yummy Wildflower phone case. You get the gist. Merch is all around us. I feel that you could tell just based on my appearance that I've had some sort of merch collection, and you'd be right, but maybe also surprised that it wasn't as deep as it could have been. I mean, it was very subconscious, and I never took it seriously, but more as a hobby, and I have an entire vinyl collection. Growing up, I even collected Funko Pops, Melanie Martinez merch, but each one felt kind of pressured into it because I felt that I should pursue them as a human nature rather than for my own fun, which is really interesting to me. I feel like there's always this kind of stigma and feel like I need to get more. And it was kind of expected from me. So it really is in my field to talk about this topic, because if you were to walk down to your nearest factory store like Target or Walmart, these collections exist all around you. And yet, if you travel to, say, Hawaii, you'd also have all of these, for memories' sake, memorabilia around you, such as a little nameplate or a coffee mug or a tote bag. Anywhere you go, merch floats around in the air. Say you go to a concert, which I never personally have, but if I did, I'm sure I would want some sort of physical holder that I attended. And again, merch stands, where any teen would buy the only thing that they could afford, probably like a pin or a sticker or maybe a beanie, just to never use it. But that teen just felt like they wanted to be included in the hype of it all. So, with this again, we're expected to buy into these memory holders, and for many people, it's a fun fan thing. It's a good experience to have and remember. But that comes with a much darker underlying portrayal, where these merch objects are extremely overpriced. They're hyped up just simply due to our nostalgia that they're profiting off of. Me and merch, well, I grew up in the 2010s and would buy just any graphic tee because it looked nice. And yet any divorced dad would walk up to me and then quiz me on whether I knew the songs or not. I literally have to read and only buy a shirt as a genuine fan now because of that little underlying embarrassments that I've now have inside of me. Collecting is beyond that though. Although the definition of merch is specifically any branded item to promote something, merch isn't the only thing that people collect. So although a Beyonce Cowboy Carter tee or a Lana Del Rey lighter may be something that brings people together over a common interest, you can also find common interests in less capitalistic collecting, such as rocks, leaves, or even bones, which I've seen a disturbing amount of, but if it's not harming anyone... Wait a minute. Okay, apologies for the lighting change. It's been like an hour since my last clip, but we're back. So clearly everything is merch, and even author businesswoman Anna Angelique and fashion journalist Eugene Rabkin state any object that has a symbolic relevance as merch, including objects such as J.W. Anderson's pigeon bag, including that on the list of merch. So how can you go wrong when there's so many forms of merch that are meant to bring communities together? The capitalistic turnover. Upon announcement of the Mean Girls x Bratz collab, fans were ecstatic and over the moon, as it's the combination of two very well-established brands to create something so symbolic of their childhood. With the Mean Girls buzz lately and the comeback of Bratz, it seemed to be a dream come true. That was until the launch of the Regina George doll that sold out within 2 minutes. 2! So a huge amount of fans waiting for the drop hadn't even a sliver of chance to buy the doll. And the doll retailed at $60 before tax and shipping. So when it came the time for Katie Heron's doll release, they... Editing me here, I just realized that I accidentally flip-flopped the Regina and the Katie doll. The Katie doll actually came out first on October 3rd, and then the Regina one came out second 2 weeks later. So it was actually the Regina George doll that had extra authentication and not the Katie one. They decided to add extra authentication. This seemed good, and it was hopefully to prevent the resellers from sending bots their way in order to buy the dolls before real collectors and fans can. And yet, bam! It only made it worse, with so many fans unable to pass the authentications. Meanwhile, allegedly, even more bots were able to get the doll. And the doll sold out in a reportedly 1 minute. So maybe, just maybe, for the Gretchen Wieners and Karen Smith double drop launch, Bratz will get some type of memo. They sold out in 4 minutes, which is better, but still terrible for fans who now have to wait at least 2 months for a restock. The only other option to get these dolls is to buy from the resellers who stole the dolls in the first place, and then priced them at between $200 and $400 on average, maybe even more. Now, this is just one example, and the same could be said for practically any collector item, or even concert tickets. Not even real merch, and yet resellers still galore. Sellout builds hype? Now, do you think that Bratz may have been taking notes from King Kylie during her lip kit launch, which sold out in under 10 minutes due to her hype of telling fans that it's how she got her lips so big? Or do you think that it was a genuine misunderstanding and they just weren't expecting so much hype? I mean, come on. They had to have known, right? Anyways, that's all I have for today. And let me know any other notable examples that you can think of. I can think of a few. So, until next time, I am now releasing a song called Hybrid Apparatus, which you are listening to now. It will be out December 5th, and the pre-sale link is in fact below. Otherwise, all my music is at Zyre on all streaming platforms, so make sure to check that out. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and that's all. Bye! Stuck on the train, going nowhere by sorrow. Heart in a spin, don't want